Now, the Japanese government is debating whether to expand the evacuation zone around the Fukushima power plant. Water radiation there is now 10,000 times higher than the norm. The evacuation area is currently 20 kilometers around the plant, and those living close to the area are seeing a lack of vital supplies. Let's now cross live to Igor Ogorodnev, who is waiting for us live in Tokyo. And so we're hearing that many people living close to the evacuation zone are not leaving their homes. But I hear there's a lack of electricity, a lack of normal daily supplies. How is everyday life there right now?
Well, indeed, the government does seem to have almost failed these people over the past 2 weeks. Now, those living within the 20-kilometer range, they got very simple instructions straight away. As soon as the accident happened, they were told to leave. People in the 20 to 30-kilometer range, and in fact, the population of that area could be as high as 130,000. We don't know how many of those people are still in that area, but it's numbering in the tens of thousands. They were given very contradictory instructions. They were told that they could stay in their homes, that they would be okay as long as they shut their windows and didn't go out. But as the weeks have unfolded, what we are actually witnessing is that these people are not getting even the basic supplies. So whilst they're there, staying in their homes, protecting themselves from radiation, the government isn't even able to give them food and water and all the other necessities because nobody else will be prepared to go into the area. And now what we are finding out is that, in fact, their lives might not be safe because whilst the government is saying, OK, we can give you the opportunity to relocate, but don't worry, we're only doing this for your convenience, not for your safety. In fact, science experts are painting a completely different picture.
There's been high levels of radiation detected out at the 20-kilometer limit already. And what you have when you have radiation levels of that level is that in a week or two, you'll have people that are experiencing the radiation exposure of nuclear plant workers, over the course of their career. And these are people in a situation where there's been an earthquake, there's been a tsunami, there's a shortage of food, there's a shortage of water. So these people should not be allowed to remain in such an exposure area.
Of course, this is something which highlights the trust issues which have been quite prevalent here in Japan. People were not feeling that they were getting enough information from their government, and this has led to a degree of panic. This has led to panic buying, panic hoarding of water in Tokyo over the last few days, people exchanging rumors, some which are untrue, and a lot of information being passed on by bloggers who are, on the one hand, doing a very important job because they're filling in the gap of the government, but on the other hand, as you know, these unofficial sources of information can sometimes be hysterical or badly informed themselves and therefore spread a false picture. So we've seen politicians in the last few days stepping in and actually criticizing the government for the way it's been handling this crisis.
People saw the explosion again and again and again on television, and the government won't tell you for many hours what the hell's going on. So the government should have been releasing information timely. They should tell you what's really happening. So right now the people are wondering if the government is telling you true stories.
All right, Igor, can we just take a step back here and get a wider picture? 2 weeks now after the deadly tsunami struck, how is Japan coping?
Well, the majority of the victims are still the victims of the tsunami and the earthquake. And some of the pictures which we have been seeing are truly horrifying. People who would normally be cremated under Japanese culture, under Japanese religion, instead being dumped into what are mass graves, sometimes in badly, hastily constructed coffins, sometimes even in plastic bags, with the government saying, OK, this is the best we can do for now, this is all that we can do, and we'll later exhume these people and give them a proper cremation. So you can imagine, considering the stress that their relatives have already gone through, you can imagine what being told something like this can do to people's psyche. There's also fear that amongst those populations which are still living near the coast, which have particularly suffered, that there might be infection spreading and so on. So this is the very negative side. But on the other hand, there is something to be optimistic about, and we've already seen some of the roads rebuilt, we've already seen some of the train services restored as well. So the Japanese, in terms of restoring the infrastructure, are being very fast and very efficient. But of course, what you can't dispute is the figures which we're already receiving, which is more than 10,000 people dead and 17,000 people missing, most of whom are presumed to be dead as well.
Igor. Those figures continue to rise on a daily basis. RT's Igor Ogorodov there live in Tokyo. Thank you very much.